Good morning and welcome to the channel. I hope you all can hear me. It is crazy windy this morning, so this is not going to be a very long video. I am in the garden, as you can see, and I am continuing to propagate and harvest. I did some harvesting this morning of the castor bean plants. I have three. I have two really large ones in the back garden and a medium-sized one in the cut flower garden. Ooh, the wind. Hope y'all can hear me. So I was harvesting those seeds this morning. It's putting on a lot of seeds. I'm excited to see it. So I'm hoping to get a really nice harvest from these before the season is over. So today we're in the garden because I am, again, like I mentioned, continuing to propagate. Now is a good time to put in trees and to propagate some of your plants that you want to keep over winter or to increase and make more. So today I am going to go into the memorial garden. Stuff is falling over this wind, y'all. Ooh, it's getting rough. I'm going into the memorial garden and we're going to propagate one of my rose bushes. So stay tuned. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm in the cut flower garden this morning. The wind is very high. My neighbor's gate is open. Don't know why, because I had it fixed when I had my fence elongated or pushed forward. So it does work, but why it's unlatched, I don't know. So it's creaking and swinging in the wind, and y'all are going to hear it sounding like some kind of bad horror movie, but that's what that is. So I do apologize. I hope y'all can hear it, but I think you probably can. So I'm in a cut flower garden this morning, and I have a rose bush over here. You all can't see it just yet, but I dug it out of the front garden last year, I want to say, maybe the year before. It might be in the ground 2 years. Y'all, I tend to forget. I'm always moving things around. So I dug this out of the front garden because when I bought the rose bushes for the front, they all were labeled to be white. This one ended up being a coral color, which again is not my front garden color scheme, but in the memorial garden, that is the color scheme. So I dug it up and planted it over here, and I will take you guys over there in just a moment. It is right there. You all can't see it clearly, but I'll take you all over there. There's a huge orb weaver spider, so I'm going to be very careful not to mess with her because that's where she's living. But I am going to cut off some of the limbs along the front and the back and trim it up some, and then we're going to propagate those limbs I cut off. But I put her over here and she's loving it, and I also transplanted a piece of her in the cut flower garden, and it took and is growing quite well. So I'm going to do that again this year by trimming it back and making a place for it right here. You all can't see, but right here where I'm standing, I'm in front of the place where I'm going to place that rose. I left a spot open for it. So over here is where I'm going to place it. Now, of course, I have a whole bunch of stuff that's growing, that's looking real tattered because it's at the end of the season. So what I'm going to do, I've already cleaned off my shears. I have my tools over here. I have my fertilizer. I'm going to create the hole before I take the piece of plant. What I tend to do before I start cutting anything that I want to propagate, if I'm going to put it in some soil, I prepare that soil first. So what I'm going to do is dig the hole. I'm going to put some rainwater in the hole. Then I'm going to cut the plant. I'm going to put some rooting hormone that I have in my pocket on the end. I'm going to stick it in the hole, and then we're going to go and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you propagate successfully. So let's dig this hole, shall we? This is the spot where I'm going to place the rose right here in between a bunch of other plants, but I need to move the canna a little bit and dig a hole. So I'm hoping you all can see. I will probably move you all a little bit closer so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm sure you all know how to dig a hole, but I'm going to show you how I'm now doing. The canna is in the way, and I do apologize, but the canna is a pretty big girl. So what I like to do is move the mulch out of the way before I start digging, and make sure my drill is going the right way. Make sure there's nothing down here that's living in the cannas that's going to come out and get me, and then I just drill a hole. Now my soil has a lot of rocks in it, and it is very hard. There's rocks coming up out of here, and I have to be very careful not to fling those rocks into my face. But lots of rocks. I'm hitting lots and lots of stones. This is one of the reasons why I don't like digging in the soil. Lots and lots of stones. Every time I try, I'm hitting stones. Oh, I'll show you all. Hope you all can see that. Lots of stones. You can see where it was hitting and scratching. So let me finish this and I'll be back. Okay, so I've dug a hole right there. Not too deep, but just deep enough. I'm going to put some water in it, see if maybe I can loosen it up a little bit, and then dig a little further. I like to put water in my hole before I plant anything. That way, number one, I can see how the water runs off, if it's quick or slow. And since all of this is very dry over here, I know that this is going to need to be watered as it is rooting in. So as you can see, the water is moving off very slowly. So this is some very hard, sandy soil. Let me show y'all. Soil is not that great over here. It's pretty bad. And it's taken quite a while for that to drain away. So that's not necessarily a good thing. So let's go and cut some pieces of this rose. This is the rose bush I was telling you about, and you all cannot see her, but I'll take you, excuse me. That is the spider that I was telling you all about, and I'm going to leave her alone because this is where she lives. And sorry about moving the camera like that, but I wanted to show you all the spider. I'm going to just shape up this rose bush. I like to take a look at it and see, number one, how it's growing. I want to make sure it's not growing up against the house so that it's not scratching the house at all. I don't think it would do much harm because these planks are pretty sturdy. But there are a couple of pieces along the back side that I would like to trim off. I've already trimmed off the front side as of last spring, so I don't need to trim it here. I like to make sure it's not hanging off into the walkway and it's not going up against the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back piece right here and cut that down and see how many pieces I can get off of that one. And there's one over on the other side opposite this one. You all can't see it. And I'm going to take that as well. So let me take a look and see how I'm going to slice this down or cut this down. And then before I cut it, I'll bring you guys here. That's not the best looking specimen. It's relatively old. So I'm going to take it down close to the base and cut it from there. Let's see if I can, I might need to move this bucket. This is a bucket of liquid fertilizer water. I don't know if I can move it. Oh, it's really too heavy. I'm not going to be able to move that. It's full, so I can't move it. So I'm going to have to maneuver around, and hopefully you all can see. So matter of fact, let me just cut it, and then I'll come back. I'm trying to shift you guys and move you so that you can see. I'm going to take it from down here. If I can maneuver around this way, I'm going to cut it down here. Hopefully it doesn't stick me too bad. There we go. I'm going to just grab it with my shears and take it from there. And we're going to go over and plop it over there. Now there's another piece on the opposite side. Let's see if I can locate it. Let me go around you all. Let's take a look and see. Now this is dyed back, so I can actually pull that out. Let me get my glove. I don't like touching a whole lot of stuff with my bare hands. That's just me. I know others do it, but that's not how I like it. So I'm just going to take this out. This was the, I think that was, I can't remember which plant that is, y'all, but it's died back. So it'll come back from the bulb or the rhizome. My brain is not letting me tell y'all what this is right now. I know what it is, but I can't remember to tell y'all what it is. It's a gladiola. I think it's a gladiola, to be honest with you. And I see some type of feces back there, and I'm hoping that the what is that thing that was crawling around in the garden earlier this year? Possum. I hope the opossum's not back. I hope that's some. It looks like old feces, but still, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. So we're gonna just take all this out because this is gone over and it is fed the bulb. So I can see I've got some death in here, so I'm just gonna cut that back like that. When I see death, I just go ahead and cut it out. That way the plant is staying as healthy as possible. And the piece that I want to cut out is this piece right here. So I'm going to take it down to right there. And then we're going to take this over here. So let's do that. Now I feel like I've shaped her up as far as I would like to shape her. I try to shape them, like I said, every fall. And that way when they go dormant and come back in spring, they have a better look to them. That's what I try to do. Now, I don't want to take this flower, but I need to. Her web is on that flower, but I'm going to take it anyway. If there's a flower, I like to take it off. It didn't disturb her, so that's a good thing. All right, so I've already taken off some of the webs, and it looks like there's some more death. So while I'm standing here, I'm going to prune some more death off. That's looking okay. That's not looking so great. And so that's what I do. If I see anything, I hope my head's not in the way, but if I see anything that doesn't look great, I go ahead on and I cut it out. That way it opens up the plant, and for the next spring, it has a better shape. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trimming her up, cutting out what I don't like to see. If there are any major crossing branches, like this right here, this doesn't look so great. In all honesty, it really looks pretty bad. So I'm going to cut it out. It has just a couple of leaves on it, but not enough for me to want to keep it here. So I'm just going to cut this piece down there at the base. Y'all probably couldn't see that, but I didn't like how this one was looking. It looks pretty poorly, so I cut it out. And if I can save any of it, I will, but it was looking pretty poorly. So we're going to just take that and we're going to throw it over there. Okay, so it looks like how I want it to look. It's going straight up with a slight flare on the sides, and that will give me more room next year to plant something either on the right or the left, because I like to have a little symmetry. But let's go and let's plant this rose bush. Now what I've done is I placed the other two clippings in some rainwater while I'm working over here on this particular piece. Now I'm going to take some fertilizer, and I'm not going to enrich the soil. I'm not going to change the soil at all. I'm not going to add any potting soil. I'm just going to put some fertilizer in there, and I'm going to move some of that regular earth back around it like that, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. I'm not adding anything to that hole. Now I'm going to take the clipping, which is down here on the ground, trying not to hurt my hand too bad with these thorns, because it has a tremendous amount of thorns on it, and this wind is not helpful. Okay, so I picked it up, and I'm going to show y'all in just poking myself with thorns. Show y'all in just a second. These thorns are serious on this thing. Let's move the fertilizer out of the way, and I'm going to show you all, excuse me, this is the end of it. I'm going to take these thorns off just like that. Just take my shears and push those thorns up and take the pokey bits off because I don't want to be bothered with the pokey bits. Okay. All right. Now, also, we're going to turn it around. I hope y'all could see. We're going to turn this around and I'm just going to scrape it like so. But before I do that, I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut this end part off right up under a thorn. I'm going to cut that off like that. And I'm going to hopefully not poke myself again. I'm going to scrape it down like that. Still poking myself. And we're going to get some of that off of there like that. We're scraping it down to the cambium layer. Taking that cambium layer off. That way we can get some root growth there. Now let me go into my pocket and get the rooting hormone. All right, all right. And this thing is grabbing a hold of my clothing. It's poking me in the hand. Lord have mercy. All right. I dropped it on the ground by mistake. Ugh. Okay. Because this thing is poking. So I'm going to dip it in some rooting hormone. You all have seen me do that before. But just like that. Dip it in some rooting hormone. And I'm going to go ahead and try to get this in the ground without damaging myself too bad. Because it is very pokey. Very, very, very pokey. Now, when you are planting this, you want to kind of situate it to where it has the visual interest that you want to see. So turn it the way you want it to be before you jab it in the ground. All right. And I'm going to try and make a hole with this stick. That way my rooting hormone doesn't come off. Hope you all can see. But made a hole right there. And I'm just going to place this down in that hole without trying to impale myself with these thorns. But you want to try to get it deep in that hole. Stick broke. You want to get it in there. That way it has contact with that soil. Now let me get my hori and we're going to push soil back in that hole like so. We're just going to push that soil back in that hole and cover up. Get it as deep as we possibly can. We want to have as many growth points in the ground. And then we want to make sure that we put some mulch on top because this is some really, really, really dry soil. There's a lot of rocks. Y'all probably can hear me hit these rocks. Now don't forget that you want this to be turned a certain way. So make sure it's turning the way you want it before you tamp it in. And I'm going to take my foot and tamp it in. Firming that soil around it. And I hope you all can see what I'm doing. Just like that. Just tamping it in. Now, what I'm going to do is move more of this hard, mulchy soil. So I put mulch on top. And I'm just moving it around, filling that weed out. There's rocks everywhere. Every time I move my hori, I hit a rock. All right, now I'm going to get some more rainwater. And I hope y'all saw that. And I'm going to pour some rainwater on top of there. Now I'm going to get some more. And then I'll be right back. I went and grabbed another bucket of rainwater. And I'm going to pour it over into the hole. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. I want to make sure that the surrounding area is moist. So I want to keep it moist. And I want to make sure that it doesn't twist on me. Ooh. The soil is moving because of all the water. The soil that I dug out, that loosened soil. So I'm going to move it back. A lot of water over here now. My butt is probably in your way. I do apologize. There we go. And we want to make sure that it's not leaning towards the house. We want it to be straight up. There we go. And let's hope I didn't dislodge it too much. Let me try one more time because I don't like how it's sitting. I feel like the canna is going to keep hitting it and moving it around because this soil is really, really sopping wet. I put a lot of water over here. This soil was so incredibly dry. Trying to put more soil to mound it up so that it doesn't dislodge. There we go. And it could probably be a little bit deeper, but it was very hard for me to dig over here. So I am just going to mound up all that and leave it just like that. And I'm going to keep checking on it, keep it watered. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to cut this canna leaf. Let me cut this canna leaf because I don't want this canna to fall into it because the wind is blowing and it's going to dislodge it. So we're going to cut some of these ugly canna leaves off and just drop them and let them mulch in place. I let them mulch in place like that. I'm going to cut off one more. You all probably cannot see, but that's okay. I'm just going to cut off another one, drop it down, and let it mulch in place just like that. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut off a couple more because, like I said, I don't want this falling into it. And we're going to mulch into place like that. All right. Now, the cannas that's already over here, the leaves that are not touching it, will shield it from the sun because this does get sun over here. I feel like it's leaning because of all the water. Hang on, y'all. I'm going to have to move y'all. Now, you want to make sure that it's facing the way you want it to face, that it's secure in the ground, and that it's watered in nicely. So I'm going to leave it here. It's in the shade. It'll get some afternoon sun, but it's going to stay right here, and hopefully it's not going to shift around. I may get a stone and put a stone next to it and see about keeping it in place. That's what I do. I'll go get a couple of bricks and put some bricks around it so that it keeps it in place. And if the wind does get really high, the canna is not going to shift it. So let me go get a couple of bricks. I put 2 bricks down so that it doesn't shift. And now I'm going to move on to planting the other ones in the cut flower garden. So let's go. A few minutes, but I decided where I wanted to put the new clippings over in the cut flower garden. Now, this right here is right next to my air conditioning unit as well as the comfrey. This is the piece of rose that I transplanted over here, I want to say a year ago. It is rooted well, it is growing well, and so I want to put another 2 in here so that I have 3 roses growing in this side garden. So I've already found a location. Let me trim this back and then we'll put in the other one like I did in the memorial garden. See, I trimmed it up nicely. If there's any part of the plant that is sticking out or crossing that I don't want, I go ahead and just take it down. I do have one possible branch that's crossing. I'm going to keep an eye on it, see how it's growing. I may end up cutting that piece out or cutting it down some. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. That way it's not crossing or causing any damage to the rest of the plant. But I went ahead and shaped it up, and as you can see, it is growing kind of like a goblet going straight up, and that's how I like it. So that's how I try to keep my roses trimmed. This is where I've decided to put the other piece of rose. I've already started moving back the wood chip, and we're gonna see if I can get through this soil better. It's sandy and it's rocky, as you all can hear. So let me get through here and I'll be right back. I pulled a really big rock. You can see where the drill was hitting it out of that hole. And again, this is why I don't like digging in the ground. It's just so stony and sandy. So I'm going to get some water, some rainwater, and pour off into that hole, and then we'll get started. So I dug up some more of the soil. This is just some comfrey water, So we're just going to put a little water in there. Let that soak in. And then I'll go get the rose and get that ready to put in the hole. The piece of rose I have is not the best looking specimen, but it is alive. And so I am going to go ahead on and use it. I'm going to put some fertilizer in the hole because I feel like it just needs a little fertilizer. That soil was very dry, very sandy, not the best. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with this that I did with the other piece. I'm going to just scrape up some of these thorns if possible. Ah, they are pokey. Pokey, pokey, pokey. Ooh, I don't like thorns. But I'm trying, I hope you all can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to hold it in a place where it's not going to poke me so bad. And that's not really working out in my favor. But I'm just running my shears up the length of this. Try to get some of those thorns off the base so I can better hold it. So I've already pulled a little piece of thorn out of my finger. Not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. All right, so then I'm just going to take it and scratch off just a strip. I'm not going to shear the whole bottom half. Just a strip of it like that. Hope you all can see what I'm doing. Just do it like that. I'm going to cut this bottom straight. And there we go. I want roots to come out of there. We're going to take the rooting hormone and dip it in there like that. Didn't mean to get it on the ground, but it is what it is. And we're going to put that top so we don't lose too much more of that. And then, of course, you take a look at your plant. I know you all can't see me, but I'm switching it around, trying not to stick myself. But you take a look at your plant, you kind of figure out how you want it to grow, and then you put it down in the soil, like so. And I'm trying to push it without sticking myself, which is almost impossible. So I'm going to take my hori and backfill. Just backfill it like so, making sure that it is looking how I want it to look. Moving that mulch back around. And then I'm going to step on it. I'm going to cross over you all and firm it in. You want to make sure that there are no air pockets. You just firm it in. Just like so. I'm just going to move some more of this mulch around. Mulch and soil, like so. And you just make sure that it's standing up how you want it, so it's not leaning onto your home in any way. And if it's leaning, then you just shift it. Shift it how you want it. And then take your foot and press that soil down so that it stays where you want it, just like that. All right. And then you just move that mulch. Now I have bulbs growing over here, so I'm not going to do too much. And then I'm going to water it in. So let's get some water. It's right over here. And I'm going to water it in. And that, family, is how I propagate my roses. And it has worked quite well for me. There are some, I'm going to put this this rock right here. That way it doesn't shift. I have had some successes this way. I have had some failures this way. But what I think the failures come from is when it's too cold and I take it and it's dormant and it doesn't want to wake up because it dies due to it being cut when it's too cold. It's not getting enough water. And so it doesn't work for me when it's dormant. So I'm hoping this is what's going to work this year. I'm going to plant one more, but I'm not going to take you all with me. But that is how I plant, I propagate and plant my new rose clippings. So let's chat because I have some more in the front garden that I want to do as well. So that is how I propagate my roses. And as you saw over in the cut flower garden, I have a rose that is growing, flowering. It has put down roots. It is very happy. It's been there probably about 2 years because I don't think I even made a video of what I was doing, which I tend to do a lot, it seems. So much to do in so little time. So I am going to wrap this up. I want to say thank you for joining me in the garden today, showing you how I propagate my rose bushes. And I'm hoping that in spring I will have another rose bush over here, one over here, and two additional ones over there. I took some extra clippings off of the one that's over here and I put them in some water. I think what I might do is cut those back into smaller pieces, put them in a little pot in the greenhouse, see if I can root them that way. I've never tried. No, that was a long time ago. I tried rooting them in pots a long time ago and I didn't have any success with them. But I think I'll try rooting the extra clippings over here and then put those in the greenhouse and maybe gift those or sell those. But I don't need any more of the peach ones. And so I am going to be done with this video for today. So again, thank you for joining me in the garden. I hope you learned something. I hope if you have a rose bush or if you know someone in your friend or family group that has a rose bush that's willing to share with you and you want to propagate that, that you try the method that I've been using. As you saw, I did take one from the memorial garden and propagate that over into the cut flower garden, and it is doing quite well. It's small. I did cut it back a lot this year, so I'm hoping it'll stay like that. And the other two pieces that I took and put in the cut flower garden will grow well, just like it did. So again, thank you very much. Share the video, like the video, leave me a comment if you've propagated your roses this way. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you in the next one. It's that time. Start propagating. Grow your plants, y'all. Bye for now.